In a peaceful little village nestled in the quiet countryside, there lived an old woman named Mary. Though she was elderly and lived alone in a rustic wooden house, Mary was never lonely. She was the most beloved woman in the village, known for her kind heart and willingness to help anyone in need. Whenever someone faced hardship, Mary was always there, sometimes with wise advice, sometimes with a warm hug, or even a steaming pot of soup on a cold winter day. The villagers cherished Mary as if she were family. They often visited her to chat, seek guidance, or simply to share the joys of life. In return for her kindness, they brought her food, firewood, and small gifts, making sure she never went cold or hungry. Mary's life was simple, but full of love and human connection. She had no wealth, but she possessed a priceless treasure, the love and unity of her community. And it was this that kept her heart warm and her smile ever present, no matter how the days passed. One autumn morning, as the sky was still covered in mist and golden leaves lay thick on the ground, Mary decided to venture into the forest to collect firewood. Her village was quiet, and gathering firewood was part of her daily routine. Everyone in the village knew her as the kind-hearted soul always ready to lend a hand. While Mary was walking among the trees, a strange sight suddenly appeared before her. On the forest floor, a large bronze pot, partially buried in the soil, gleamed with a golden hue. She stared at the pot in amazement, her heart filled with curiosity and disbelief. Pulling the pot from the ground, she discovered it was full of shining gold, its brilliant glow reflecting the morning sunlight. Mary couldn't believe her eyes. A wave of joy and excitement washed over her. In an instant, she began to dream of a wealthy, comfortable life, one where she would no longer worry about money, where she could help others freely without limitation. It felt like she had found an invaluable treasure, and for a moment, she saw herself as one of the richest people alive, ready to enjoy a life many could only dream of. Despite some concern about how to transport the heavy pot, her joy overpowered any worry. After finding the treasure, Mary immediately decided to take the pot home. However, it was so heavy that moving it proved extremely difficult. Unwilling to leave it behind in the forest, Mary came up with an idea. She gathered wood and fashioned a simple sled using tree branches. With this, she could drag the heavy pot back to her cottage. The journey was far from easy, but Mary refused to give up. With each step, the pot slid along the wooden sled, heavy yet filled with hope. But then, something strange began to happen. The pot seemed to get lighter. At first, the gold started turning into silver. Mary couldn't understand what was happening, but she pressed on, her eyes fixed on the pot. Eventually, when it became very light, she saw that the silver had turned into iron. A wave of disappointment filled her, but instead of anger or regret, she paused and reminded herself that even iron held value. In that moment, Mary realized she had gained so much from the journey itself: patience, inner strength, and valuable lessons about the true worth of things. Although disheartened by the transformation of gold into iron, Mary didn't let the feeling of loss take over. She reminded herself that value isn't always about outward appearance. Even if the pot no longer held gold, iron was still useful. She began to reflect on everything she had experienced along the way. Life doesn't always go according to plan, but in every situation, there is joy and contentment to be found. What mattered most was the ability to accept life's changes and be grateful for what one already has. The joy Mary felt in that moment didn't come from gold or silver, but from the peace in her heart, the understanding that everything has its own worth. Mary slowly realized that life isn't just about material wealth, but about living with simplicity, love, and appreciation for what we have. She looked back toward her little village and felt the warmth of her neighbors' hearts. They didn't need gold or silver to feel love and connection. In that very moment, Mary felt truly happy, not because of treasure, but because of the peace within her soul. When Mary returned home, her spirit had changed. Though the pot no longer held gold or silver, she felt no sorrow or disappointment. Instead, her heart felt more open than ever. Mary saw more clearly the value of a simple life, the peaceful mornings with neighbors, and the joy in helping others. She realized that one doesn't need wealth or riches to live a meaningful life. Simple things like genuine affection from others, love, sharing, And the happiness found in small deeds are the greatest sources of motivation in life. Her journey with the pot had shown her that happiness is not something to be bought. It's the inner peace that comes from living true to oneself. Mary began to treasure the quiet mornings, the conversations with neighbors, and felt deep gratitude for living in a loving community. She understood that every moment in life is precious, and that true happiness comes from within, not from material possessions. Mary's story carries a profound message about happiness and life's values. True happiness doesn't depend on circumstances or material wealth. Instead, it comes from within, from appreciating the simple things in life, and from loving and sharing with others. Mary learned that no matter how life changes, if we live with love and gratitude, we will always feel fulfilled. Just like the golden pot, material things may change, but lasting values such as love, gratitude, and generosity are irreplaceable. To adventure with many other interesting stories, don't forget to like and follow my channel. Thank you for watching.